Hey, what's up, everyone? Today I just want to walk you through the UCI website. I went to UCI, so I just want to give you my perspective, my opinion on my experience in UCI. So right now I'm 26. I went to UCI when I was 19, turned 19 or 18, and pretty much in 2012 all the way to 2016, at 4 years to graduate. So if you're interested in going to UCI, make sure you know what you want to major in. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Um, if you're going to UCI or any school, as a matter of fact, know what you want to do because eventually you're going to end up in a major that you're just going there just to attend school, but you're not really getting what you're supposed to be getting, which is connections and an actual job at the end of the school experience, because that's what it all comes down to. Like, you're going to eventually have to get a job at the end of college. College is not just for fun and games, it's actually for you to eventually get a job. I misused the system. I pretty much went to school thinking that everything was going to be taken care of. I went to UCI. I almost dropped out in my first year, and I wanted, to make this video so that, that doesn't happen to you, where you don't feel like you have to drop out or are close to dropping out. My experience with UCI was kind of bad at the first year because, I went from a high school where it was primarily Hispanic and most of the students there were not doing good. So my work ethic compared to the other students was relatively well. But once you reach a higher level of education where everybody has made it to the UC system, their level of competitiveness is much higher, and the level of the professors hold you to is much higher. Their standards are much higher. My teachers in high school were their standards are very low, so it was easy to get an A in high school. But in UCI, it's much more strict. Some classes are actually very easy, and it shouldn't be that way, to be honest. So I majored in environmental science, and then I eventually went to took extra classes to become earth system science. So I was initially a biology education major my first year, and then I had to drop that major and change major because otherwise I would get kicked out of the system. So I changed my major just to stay in the school, and I went to school. I went to UCI mainly because it was all paid for. I'm a low income student. I'm a single mother raising two kids and making minimum wage. So the UC system, I got grants from, Pell grants, and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm like, it's all paid for, so why not go? It's like almost a no-brainer. You might think that, you know, but there actually is an opportunity cost. If I didn't go to college, I would have done something else. So I went to college, got my degree. I ripped my degree apart, threw it away, and decided that, you know what, I'm not gonna really do anything with my major. So let's look at the UCI website, just and then I'll go back to what I was talking about. So you go to the website, go to academics, and these are the schools. You got School of Arts, School of Biological Science, School of Business, Education, Engineering, all these schools. And right here in the bottom, you got majors and minors. So you go to majors and minors, and then the schools show up again. Sorry, my screen turns dark. I don't know why it turns dark. Um, and here are the schools again, and then you learn about biology, and then all the biology majors come out. All these biology majors. I was in the physical science major, physical science. So these are all BS degrees except environmental science and policy. So I was first environmental science. They didn't have this policy part at first. When I started college, it was kind of like I was just a lab rat. Pretty much, I was getting tested on with all these courses, not really proved to be effective, and I believe they're still not effective. So I did the Earth System Science. Let's go over there, and that's what I ended up doing. We go to catalog. You'll see um, the kinds of things like if you want to, I think specify. No, let's see. Mm, This is just the catalog, undergraduate programs, schools of physical science, air system science. Here it is. You go there. Careers, and then here it tells you what kind of careers are there. So some students go on graduate school. Most of them go to graduate school and then do something engineering or related areas. So like basically that major doesn't give you anywhere. Maybe you want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher, but then I saw that teachers don't make a much that make that much. So, and I was not really in it for the money, but at the same time, I gotta survive. I gotta make myself comfortable enough so that I am not a struggling teacher where I can't even put food on my own table or even provide resources for the students. Um, See, a lot of people do research. I tried testing out the research part. It was very boring. See, research sciences in academic, public, private institutions. So you pretty much stay in school, right into policy and plan, become a government agent, environmental consulting. I have a friend who did the environmental consulting. He says he did it for 2 years or more. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he doesn't really like it. Air quality monitoring, but I think that's after getting a higher degree. Science education, see, that's what I mean. Science education, natural science management, wildlife management. That's probably the only cool thing that you'll end up doing, wildlife management, conservation, environmental protection, pretty much go in the jungle, wild, um, special programs. Oh yeah, teaching, I guess that's one. All right, so I want to look at the catalog. I want to look at the courses. Course Department of Earth System Science. Here are the courses: Earth System Science 1, Earth Science 3, 7. Use all the courses you take. And interaction. These sound familiar. You're not going to take all of them, you're going to take some of them. There's so many classes. Some of them are just the same and they're a waste of time. Pretty much, you take one class and you take another one, you pretty much repeat the same thing. They just regurgitate everything. If you want to see I got a 3.01, I think, GPA overall. This is my unofficial transcripts. Fall quarter started 2012, did pretty bad. Winter I did okay. Spring quarter okay, and then I took a summer session class where I really bombed it, like I really messed up. I took chemistry and then a chemistry lab, and then I took pre-calculus. Pre-calculus was really hard, but it was actually the most math I've learned ever. So it took up most of my time, and I ended up not focusing at all on chemistry class and the lab. I would do it, but it was very long. So pre-calculus, it was online, so I had no teacher. I had to pretty much just read everything. I could not skip a chapter. I could not skip anything. I had to go through every single problem and complete it and get it correct. I got a C minus, but that C minus doesn't mean anything because I actually learned so much. After that, I took calculus the next, you know, after, it's 5 weeks that summer session. The next summer session, right after that one, I took calculus 2A. I passed it with a B plus, and I took writing class. I got an A. Much easier. It was not an online class. It was actually a physical class. Makes it much easier, more flexible. After that, fall quarter, I did okay. Retook the class that I flunked out in the summer. Got a B plus. I didn't have to retake the lab because I already had passed it. Um, so as you can see, like I'm getting A's and B's on the easy classes, the environmental science classes. Those are very easy. They're like almost high school courses, to be honest. They're probably easier than any other science class. They're considered science, but they're so easy. Um, let's see. I took some extra math classes, just one, I guess. The math 2D right here, got a C. I took some economics classes, B minus. Yeah, it was after I transferred majors, it was pretty much pretty easy. But if I were to stay in biological science, it would get harder and harder if I didn't get better. So I'm like, I'm gonna stay because it's still paid for, so let me do other stuff in the meantime. So I didn't really focus more on my grades because it didn't really matter. Like if I get a job in this, like they're not gonna ask about my grades. It was interesting stuff. Like nonetheless, the material was interesting, but at the end of the day, is it gonna be something I'm gonna be doing, wanna be doing for the rest of my life? And if you think about it, there are not a lot of jobs in environmental or earth system science. Any job has a limit. There's a cap of how many employees are acceptable. So it's a competitive field, and if you really want the job, then maybe you'll prove to be the one. But at the end of the day, a lot of these majors are just a waste of time. What else do I want to show you? This is probably something you should do. Check up internships, so internship programs. So go to UCI internships, and then go to the schools. Choose your school. If you're doing biological sciences, open that up. Here are some opportunities. Very few. Just two links. Wow. Great. Okay, and then what else did I want to show you? So we at the main page. We saw the catalog. So yeah, check out the catalog. Things that you're interested in. Open every like social science. You got economics right there. I would probably done that, or business economics. Okay. They have nursing science. So these are all the schools, and within each school there's majors. So these are all the majors combined. There's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sorry, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 majors. One is called undeclared. Undeclared means in order to make an informed decision and foster the clear education and career goals, students not only have to know about the degrees UCI has to offer, but also be aware of their own abilities and interests. Students uncertain about what major to choose may choose to participate in the undergraduate undeclared advising program. Undeclared students participate in a variety of programs designed to provide them with information and experiences needed to make the most of their academic career at UCI. This includes academic advising and programs such as freshman seminars, first year excellence, and undeclared mentorship. So it's just somebody guiding you and still helping you decide. So those are people for the people who don't know. Maybe that's pretty much an more interesting approach if you're going to be having everything paid for. And if it's not going to be all paid for, ask yourself this question. Ask yourself, if I had to work, before going to college and save up all that money to pay for college, would you do it? And like, since you don't have a degree, you have to be working minimum wage or close to minimum wage. It would take you years to save. Let's say it's roughly $15,000 just tuition. The housing you have to figure out on your own. Or let's say you're gonna be end up paying like 22,000 a year. You could save up 22,000 a year if you work for Amazon like me, but like that's gonna take you 4 years to save up like 40, 22, 22, uh, $88,000 4 years and $88,000 in 4 years to pay for your whole school. Would you do it? Would you wait? And that's if you work like 6 days like I did. But if I were up to me, I would not be willing to save up that money just to pay for school, just to get a major that I'm not gonna end up using. So if I could give up my degree and get a refund to the taxpayers, that would be awesome, you know. But that's not something I end up doing, or I don't know if it's possible. But you know, since it was free, I just took it. I'm like, okay, whatever. I got it. Let me do something else. Let me move on with my life. I'll appreciate the experience. Um, you know, an experience is an experience, and I can share this with people who, are thinking of going to college. So I showed you um, the classes you can take by department. So these are all the schools again. This is where the website kind of gets a little confusing. It's better just to go from here. You want aerospace engineering, go to view catalog, go to Then you go to choose a major, go to place, click airspace again, click aerospace again, play, click courses, and then there are your courses. You have to take a lot of math. Right off the bat, you gotta have math calculus. You gotta have some crazy calculus. You got all these math 2D. I took math 2D my fourth year. They're making you take it. You're pretty much your first year. You gotta be ahead of the game. Look at all this. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I give props to engineers because they take the hardest shit ever. Um, they literally have to like go days without showering just to study. Like I've taken classes with engineers and they're like my classes are their electives. So like they would not study for our classes and they would literally start studying the day before and just pass the test with an A, get a better grade than I did. And I'm like, damn, these kids are smart. What else do I want to show you? I don't know what the heck this is. Shopping cart. What? You're selling something? So I showed you that the main page, easy. Okay. I show you my transcripts. 3.015 GPA. This thing froze. Let me close that up. And I showed you what you should probably be doing UCI internships. So there are other internships, to be honest. And if you want to know what it feels like to be in a class of Earth System Science, here's an example. You can look at this YouTube channel, UCI Open, I guess that's what it's called. And this is one of my teachers, Julie Ferguson. Great teacher, great at doing what she does. But like, if you play it,
a lot of weight on Greenland. But all of our
love
units
her
are going to
voice.
be in gigatons.
Love her voice.
So we just need to
She's
get the
passionate.
3 million
She
right
does the
now.
job because she likes it.
So now let's think about my
You
fluxes.
could check out
How are we going
UCI
to
staff
add ice to
pay,
Greenland?
and I think I saw that she's not getting paid,
Yeah,
quite
absolutely.
enough for the
No
work
one
she
sounds
does.
so
She does a lot of
because
work.
it's so obvious. It is obvious. It can snow on Greenland, and over time that snow will be compacted and turned into ice. So yeah, our fluxes to Greenland are the snow, and that's our source to Greenland. What about our sink from Greenland? Yeah, melting, absolutely. So a certain amount of that ice is melting, and that would be our sink. Okay?
I don't know how
So
much
our
they get paid.
snowfall is our source, and that's about 150 gigatons per year. And our melting is our sink from the ice sheet, and that's also.
So these are interesting things. Literally, all her lectures, or her main lectures, are here.
To be honest, we don't really know how to explain that terribly well. The sun is an amazing thing, but it's really
So you want to learn Earth
complicated.
System Science? Don't even take the measure. Just look at these videos, and you'll know pretty much all you need to know. Like everything I've learned has gone out my brain, and like I don't even remember anything. But Julie Ferguson, great teacher. Check out these videos; they're great. So these are the kind of jobs that if you were to just major in Earth System Science, like this is what you end up looking at is just engineer. So basically, you get your major, but you still got to be an engineer. Like you have to find out a way to become an engineer. And these are jobs that were posted 12 days. Like nothing is in the past 3 days. Past week, you know, data developer. You need some Python, computer science. They don't teach you Python within my major. So and if you want to be a programmer, you don't have to go to school. You could do an online program. Um, so yeah, like literally understand what kind of job you want. Understand the kind of field you want to be in. Our labor force in the U.S., I got some statistics right here. We have 162 million people that are in the labor force. 3.6% are currently unemployed. So 5.8 million are unemployed. And the interesting part that kind of makes me kind of mad, to be honest, is that 21 million are just government employees, whether that's USPS, that's legislation, and just like jury stuff, cops. I think that's included. 21 million. That's roughly 15% of 15%. Let's see. 162. 21.9 divided by 162. 13% make up the employees. And then the crazy part is that these employees, these government employees, in 2012, it's probably more now, of course, average a 51,000 per year. But like in the private sector, in other industries, the average was 45, so they made 6,000 more. And where does their money come from? It comes from our tax money. Like what the heck, like our tax money pays for them, but they don't produce anything. I am an Amazon driver. I provide a service, deliver packages to people. Government employees sometimes, it's a waste. It's a waste, honestly. Um, if you're to add up the multiply the number of government employees times their average pay in 2012, they would make $1 trillion. Compared to everybody else, 5.8 trillion. You can just recalculate that and check my math if you want. And there are 3.2 million full-time teachers, so there's a lot of teachers. But then on top of that, there's a website that says teachers, about half. What says right here? Half the people working in schools aren't classroom teachers. So another half are just people who are clergy, or I don't even think it's clergy, clerical. Uh, Here are some examples. Um, Non-teaching academic staff. So there's teacher aides, uh, nurses, social workers, supervisors, curriculum specialists, non-instructional aides, among administrative staff. There's principals, assistant principals, secretaries, clerical support staff, librarians, special education personnel, which is necessary, maintenance, custodial, food service, non-instructional aides. I think I said that already. So you got all that kind of stuff. Um, uh, it is a mistake to conclude that the best way to improve school is necessarily to reduce the number and quality of non-teaching staff and focus only on teachers. The devil is in the details of who does what for whom, rather than in the broad categorization of staff as teachers or non-teachers. So they're saying that you reducing the non-effective people is not necessarily the answer. Non-teaching staff can be important. So it's a very complex situation. Um, so also, these are some of the statistics that are maybe important. These are the households. 14% of households, 14.9% of households, meaning there could be two people making 100,000 to 149,000. Takes two people. Everybody below that makes less than that. And only seven, pretty much 7 plus 8.5, like 15.5% make over 150,000. Households, meaning you don't know how many people are in a household. We said the labor force is 162,000, and how many people are in a household? So we asked that, how many people are in a household? Average household number, average household income. Let's see income. 93,000. That's a medium. Medium. Average household size 2.6 people per household. It could be a child and two parents, it could be a parent and two children. But the richer you get, the less children you have, or more education you have, the less children you have. So where do you want to be? You know, there are 128,000 households. The U.S. population, like 330, I think, 327 million. So if you divide 327 million divided by 128, that should come out to 2.6 per household. Okay, these are statistics you gotta realize. The United States, by sector, you have other services could be the government. In 2009, sales and office, big percentage. Sales, a lot of people doing sales. That's good. That's people being their own boss. Managerial, professional, and technical, 37%. That's a lot. Professional, I think, is like professors and stuff like that, or doctors. Manufacturing, extraction, transportation, 20%. Farming, forestry, and fishing, very small, 0.7. Manufacturing, why does it come out twice? I have no idea. 17.6%. Industry and services, 27% services. Like, they're not specific. That's what I don't like about it. Not specific. So right now I'm here. I'm right here. I am making more than 18, 26% of the people. That's it. It households, 26% of households. Last year I made more than 36% of households, or 20, 28, 38, I don't know. To get here, ideally I would love to be on this part right here, even here. Why not here? Hey, that'd be awesome. This video is going way too long. Alright, I'll leave it at that. See you on the next video. Bye.